Hey Rebels from the Pilates studio in North Sandy Springs. I am today with my dear friend and client, Sherrod, who is going to tell us why she got into Pilates and what kind of results she has seen with Pilates. So, tell us, what got you in Pilates?
Well, a few years ago, I was having a lot of pain in my back. Every time I would bend over to pick up anything, from a pencil to a laundry basket, it hurt in my lower back. And I went to a spinal surgeon, and she really recommended Pilates. She said, I don't think that you should have surgery. You're too young. You know, this is just not something that you want to have back surgery for. And I have degenerative disc disease, which is a disc in my back has just aged more quickly than I have. And she really believed that Pilates would be the right answer to strengthening the muscles so they can make up for that. And I have almost no pain now. I can bend over anytime. I don't have the psychological
You had
reaction.
talked about that, yes.
That was really hard on me. When I would drop something, I would get a little panic because I knew that it meant I needed to bend over, or I needed to find a way to get
You
down
were associated
before.
with pain.
And it meant pain was coming. And I don't really have that anymore. It's really given me the ability to feel like I can go and go and go and go. Walking, or I love Disney, going to Disney, and not feel like I'm worried about not being able to bend over, not being able to sit, and has taught me how to sit and what muscles to engage that I never knew I had before because they're so tiny and unused. So that made a really big difference, and I think continuing to do it has allowed me to have better freedom of movement with my back than
That's awesome.
I had before.
More freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, how are you enjoying Pilates? Like, what are the things that you love? I know we have these cool conversations, which is like, I was like, would you like to do testimonial?
I love it. I think for me, I was always in the gym, I was going to yoga, but I feel like Pilates has given me the very visible, specific, noticeable changes that
That's awesome.
I didn't have before. I think in the gym, something's 20 pounds, I lift it, and then the next time it's 25 pounds, I lift it. But in Pilates, you really try something and you're like, I can't do it. And you try and you try and you can't. And then over weeks and weeks of trying, all of a sudden you're lifting up. And you never could get up before.
I know, she'll be like, this is impossible.
It's impossible.
She's like, I'm wearing the wrong pants.
This is impossible. It will never work. The swan is not possible. It is not a thing that
And
an
you
actual
guys
human
would
can
see
do.
her movement.
And now I'm at a place where I went from saying this is physically impossible for any human, not just me, any human, no human can do this, to a place where now not only can I do it, but I'm at the point where I'm trying to refine it to the tiniest little motions to get the tiny little details right. So it's not just, oh, I can kind of flop through it now, but it's, I can do a strong job of it and then also refine down into the tiny details to get better and better and better.
So tell people something about that, because I always talk about precision and people probably are like, I have no idea what she's talking about. What do you think about that?
I feel like you can feel that you've done something, you're like, okay, I did it, but there's another step and more refinement that you can always do. So you're always able to get better and do more. And I feel like Pilates allows you to feel that more than any other physical pursuit. You can get to a point where you think, oh, I
got it.
I lifted up. And then it's like, no, you need to lift up and you need to bring your arms and you need to move your arms and you need to engage here and here and here and here. And it just allows you to continue to pursue getting better and better and better at things and not just picking the weight up off the floor, which is great. And it's great to hit, you know, a personal record for squatting and things like that. But in Pilates, it's all you. And it's 100%.
It's you and you.
It's just you. So it's sort of like, you know, can you get better and better and better at what you're doing and do things that you never did before.
Right. It's different, right?
It's very different. And I think that it allows you to focus so deeply on building a body-mind connection. I didn't grow up with that. I don't
think anybody grows up with that.
But I didn't do sports. I wasn't in gymnastics. You know, I was an indoor kid, computer nerd, on the computer since I was 8 or 10, and I didn't develop that with sports or anything as a kid. And so now that I'm starting to develop that so much better, where I can use my mind to really control internal parts of my body, specific muscles, it just opens up a world that you didn't know.
It's pretty cool, right?
You had, yeah.
It's pretty amazing how disconnected we were before we realized, wow, the potential of. Do you think it's empowering?
Yes, and I feel like I've told you before, a lot of times I'll go home after Pilates or in the evening and say to my boyfriend, look what I can do, look what I can do. I can sit on my butt and I can lift my legs up and I can move my whole body without moving anything else. And look, my entire body is still except for one little part. And it feels like a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
When you
it
can
is a
do
big
those
accomplishment.
things,
yes.
when you're like, I'm flat on the floor and I can't get up. And then after you try the exercise like teaser, I love getting better at that one. The more times you try it, you feel yourself getting better.
Yeah.
And you used to not be able to lift yourself up.
You used to say that is impossible.
It's impossible. You really think like that's not possible. Then you see Maria do it and it looks amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And you think like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
It's practice. All it is it's practice. Now you know.
And I think too, for me, I don't do jackknife at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if there are exercises that you just decide that's just not for me, then you just don't do it. You just don't do that one. And that's the one that I'm too scared that it will
mess up the back.
And it's upside down, which I think makes me a little nervous too. But I go up and then I just wait there for a minute and then I'm done. And I think
that's very important that you bring that up, because I think what she's talking about is respecting our body and listening to our intuition, to what feels okay, and yes, I can do that, and I want to push myself to do that, versus that just doesn't seem like it's something that I should be doing. And I think that's huge, because the gym mentality is not such. It's, push through it, get it done, and oops.
And I think so much of Pilates is about hitting that really detailed point of getting it just right, that you think, if I feel like getting it just right will not be good for me or not feel good or make me nervous in some way, then you just don't do it.
Right.
And I think that I've had really good luck doing that over time and realizing I'm going to make just I'll just try a tiny little bit of that part and then go. And I think that's
smart.
That's smart. And you constantly, I have a back problem.
Yes.
So you're always, how's the back? How's the back? How's the back?
Yes.
And I think that that's really important for someone who doesn't have a good mind-body connection, is to have your voice constantly taking that place of saying,
yes,
what's happening with the back, what's happening with the back. And you kind of think of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to. Yes. Yeah.
It's important, because when Sherrod first started with the history that she had, we had to start very slowly, and you start and just gradually push the body to see what it is capable of doing safely, right? And everybody is so different. Some people with back pain can do certain things and some people can't do. I mean, there are some exercises that you were like, I don't know about that. And now she's just fine. The swan is not an exercise you start somebody with back pain, but as she's getting stronger, we're saying, well, let's see, is that going to bother the back? How are you feeling the next day? Did you have any discomfort? All right, now let's deepen it. So you go through a progression. You don't just come the first time and say, let's do that. You have to be very protective.
I feel like you can really feel the progression too.
Right.
You can tell, I was not able to do this before, and then 4 or 5, 6 weeks later, you're doing it. And then that's when I think that you get into that next phase of, I'm not just going to lift up. Mm-hmm. I'm not just going to get up in swan. I'm going to do, my shoulders are going to be down. My shoulders are going to be engaged. My stomach is going to be pulled in the right way. I'm going to go back. I'm going to open my chest. Where you start to do the tiny little parts, and I feel like that's very, very gratifying.
I love it. Listening to her is extremely gratifying for me, because she's listening. She has heard that a million times, right? The same corrections over and over. And it's amazing how we need to keep hearing them, even for me.
I think that that's something too that Pilates is really good for you if you're unsure or if you're nervous, because the cues, it can be a very simple movement, but there are 300 cues for it. But it alleviates a lot of anxiety, because you're always thinking, am I doing this right? No, there's not a question, because there's so many cues that can go with it. you always have someone telling you, you know, do this, do this, do this, and you don't have to worry.
And I think that's big for people who are in pain, because a lot of times people who are in pain have that fear of the ones that you mentioned, like, oh my gosh, am I gonna spasm now or hurt now, and I don't want to move because what if I get hurt?
Right.
So I think that's very important for people in pain, which is another reason why I think Pilates is great for people in pain, especially back pain.
I definitely feel stronger. Like, I definitely feel that my lower back is stronger. I definitely feel like I can bend over and pick something up and not worry about it. And it was never the weight of what I was picking up. It was always the movement. Yes. So it wasn't a strength issue. It was a movement and
Biomechanics.
Yeah.
Movement. Yeah. Important stuff. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here today. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and let us know if you have any questions. I'll talk to you soon. Have a rebellious day. Bye. Inhale, pull the belly in, squeeze the tush, head up, and you go. Lift. 1 and 2 and beautiful. And see curve, keep the shoulders away. Yes.